And we should be live any moment now. And here we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, Barn on 11970. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. And I'm going to give credit where credit is due when it comes to this. And it's also going to be a little bit of a hesitance because it's one of those I'll believe it when I see it kind of situations. But if you have not seen Trump's tax plan for the United States of America Corporation. I'm going to show you a little bit about it, and then when the video uploads, I will post the link in the description and the comment section, so it's just one easy click away. Now, if you're new to my channel, you'll hear me say things from time to time like United States of America Corporation. If you're not familiar with what that is, I highly recommend when you have 90 minutes worth of free time to watch a video that I made about 3 years ago. It's entitled The Truth of the United States, Law, and You. Now, what I ask is, instead of automatically dismissing it or seeing a little bit of it and saying, it's not for me, give it the 90 minutes it requires, give it a chance, do some research, and see what's really going on. So that's why when I talk about Trump or anybody else in the government, it's not really what you think it is. So I hope you will check that out. So again, it's The Truth about the United States Law and You. I should post a link to that as well, so I'll probably do that, but it's my most watched video. So now that I see some people are coming in, I'm going to share part of Trump's program. So like I said, I will give credit where credit is due, and if this ends up happening the way it is stated, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be a little bit happier when it comes to this corporation that he's running. So right here, and I will post the link for this in the description and the comment section once the video has been uploaded. So even if you're watching this live, come on back and check this out. So this is directly from DonaldTrump.com, and it's about the tax reform. So we're going to skip down to the major parts that I have highlighted here, and I will read this for you. And if you want to read the rest, because there's 4 pages worth, the link will be posted once the video is uploaded. So the Trump tax plan achieves these following goals. So 1, this is the most important, and this is going to affect a lot of people. But like I said, I'll believe it when I see it come tax day. If you are a single and earn less than 25,000 fiat currencies or dollars, or married and jointly earn less than 50,000, so that's your husband or wife or your spouse combined equals less than 50,000, you will not owe any income tax. So get that straight. If you earn less than 25,000 by yourself, or if you're married and jointly earn less than 50,000, you will not have 1 penny taken away from you in income tax. According to this, it says that removes nearly 75 million households, over 50% from the income tax rolls. They get a new 1-page form, and this I find actually kind of funny. You will actually get a 1-page form to send to the IRS saying, quote, I win. So basically you're sending a form to the IRS, sticking it to them. That I kind of like. That's kind of taking the knife and twisting it. So I've had concerns with Trump. I mean, I've explained this numerous times. If you don't know about that because you're new here, check out my other videos, because when you're running a corporation, you have to be careful. But the fact that he's basically telling you to send a form in that says, I win, to the IRS, that's kind of throw it in their face, and I kind of like that. So I will give credit. So that's the first part. Number 2, all other Americans will get a simpler tax code with 4 brackets: 0%, which I like, 10%, 20%, and 25% instead of the current 7. So they're reducing it to make it a little bit easier. This new tax code eliminates the marriage penalty and the alternative minimum tax, the AMT, while providing the lowest tax rate since before World War II. Again, let's hope it sticks. Number 3, no business of any size, from a Fortune 500 to a mom and pop shop to a freelancer living job to job, will pay more than 15% of their business income in taxes. This lower rate makes corporate inversions unnecessary by making America's tax rate one of the best in the world. Now, obviously, that one's really going to benefit very big businesses, because if they're not going to be paying more than 15%, I mean, I think now there are some businesses that have to pay over 50%. there are still the loopholes. Hopefully he'll get rid of those because a lot of businesses have overseas accounts and you can't tax those. So there are ways to kind of get around that. So that's something I hope they will fix as well, because there's always loopholes for businesses. That's how they can make billions of dollars and not have to show any taxes, because when you have your money in offshore bank accounts, it's not, you know, going to be put into play. So we'll see about that. And the last one, which I find interesting, that number 4, no family will have to pay the death tax. In other words, when you have a family member die, the government loves to come in and take a little percentage of whatever it is you're giving away, and they call it a death tax. It's another way for them to steal money. So when you're born, there's a tax. When you work, there's a tax. When you die, there's a tax. But according to this, they're saying no family will have to pay the death tax. You earned and saved that money for your family, not the government. You paid taxes on it when you earned it. And that's very true. Every time you earn a paycheck and you put money in the bank, you know, they take out taxes, and they call it regulations, and they call it fees and all these service charges and everything under the sun that they can come up with to steal your money. So, like I said, I am going to give Trump credit where credit is due. That is incredible if it does take place. Now, we will find out come April 15th. But that would actually help increase, production, because if people have more money in their pocket instead of in the pocket of the government or the banks or the corporations, well, you can buy more gold and silver with it. You can hopefully do some responsible investing in it, not just blow it on beer and, vacations and stuff. As nice as vacations are, to me, I always thought you're spending thousands of dollars on something that's nice for about a week to 10 days, and then that money's gone forever, never to be seen again. Obviously you could do with your currency as you see fit, but I would recommend trying to invest as much as you can in things like gold and silver and other kind of assets that can increase in value to protect yourself in case there are problems. So, does this mean that all of a sudden I'm majorly in love with Trump and I think he's the savior of all saviors? I'm not ready to get to that point yet. Is he doing a lot of things of what he said? So far, so good. We'll see what happens. But make no mistake, like I've said, the United States is not a country, it's a corporation. It was incorporated years ago in the Act of 1871, went bankrupt in 1933. So until they finally admit things like that, until they abolish the Fed and we have our own governments make their own currency for its own citizens, and until people understand what words like citizen means legally, they're going to kind of fool us with determinations and the terminology. So I'm not going to make this video long. Like I said, once the video uploads, I will post it in the description. So if anything, this slave master is going to give the slaves a lot better treatment, but make no mistake, we are still slaves when you are in the system. Just look at the way they wrote the 13th Amendment. They talk about slavery as involuntary servitude, which means they can't put a gun to your head and make you do things, but if they can trick you to do it yourself, then according to the 13th Amendment, you are a legal slave by your own servitude. So they love to trick you with terminology that most people will never research. Even there will be people here that will hear things like this and just never even look it up, which is how they can control people. So this is better for us slaves of a corporation, but we're still slaves, so we still have to work, we still have to have credit, we still create more debt. I mean, one of the things that Trump is passing, I think it was yesterday or today, is giving the ability for people, for banks to extend more credit to people. That may sound great, but that's going to increase the debt. That's going to create more the ability for the Fed to create more fiat system that puts us further and further in debt. So, you got to be careful with some of the wording and pay attention to things, because it's not always as it seems. So pay attention and be diligent. So with that being said, I'm going to end the video. Once this video uploads, I will post the link. So if you want to read the entire tax plan, you are more than welcome to. Anything can change between now and tax time. So just because this is implemented now doesn't mean it's going to stay that way or it can't change. So keep that in mind. If I do find out any changes or it doesn't go into play, I will let you know. Keep researching, think for yourself, never be afraid to ask questions, get yourself out of the banks and open up a federal credit union. Take as much of your money as you can and get things like food, water, gold, silver, investments, and just think for yourself. Never be afraid to ask any question, because they may not be lying, They just may have been mistaken, and at least your verification can make sure the answer is what you really want it to be. So with that being said, if you want to give it a thumbs up, that's great. If you want to give it a thumbs down, congratulations on your negative achievement. Hit subscribe if you want to, and don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered. Have a wonderful day.